Greetings, welcome back to another cup of conversation with me, Nidra Simmons. I posted a video earlier. I'm gonna go ahead and post it. This might come afterwards or before it. Regardless, I was distracted in this video because I was driving and I used the GPS, and the GPS was trying to get me to a location. But because I took a different direction, it just kept on interrupting into the post that I was doing. So I want to come off by saying that distractions are real. Distraction can agitate the heck out of you. And don't let it get the better of you. If you can still find a moment to digress, take a deep breath and relax, do that. So that way you're not letting the emotion of agitation get the better of you. The video that I'm going to post, I want to post it. I don't know if I should post it, so we'll see if it comes up or not. But and just in case I don't post it, it was talking about basically choices. It was talking about how, you know, I had a conversation with my son, and we were talking about how you know, demons can enter a person, and we was reflecting on a movie that we saw. And I was explaining to him that the demons can enter into a person by that person's state of being, that person's state of mind. Like if you are at a Lodabar place, a place to where you're not happy with the life that God has blessed you with because you were dealt a shorthand, and you want to give up on the life that God has blessed you with, that's a low state. That is a opening for the enemy to come in and try to get you to do what they say. That is an opportunity for the enemy to whisper in your ear to go further, to do something that you know in your heart you don't want to do, but because you're at a low place, it's going to try to use that as leverage to get to make you do what you need to, what it wants you to do. Or you can be so boastful, so conceited, so what's the word? If it's not so selfish to where I'm gonna go home. Okay, so you're gonna be so selfish to where you're gonna do anything you can to make sure that you stay at the top. You're gonna step on people's heads. You're gonna hurt people if you need to be. You're gonna do whatever it is that you need to do to get on top without being considerate or showing any compassion about your fellow employers or members or whoever you're up against. Or you can be so, if there's a competition that's going on, you can be so mean and so devious, and you just want to do anything at any means necessary to win. When you're at that state of mind, that is also an invitation that the enemy feels is what they're going to use as leverage to get you to turn over on their side, to kind of take over your body. What you see, what you hear, what you eat, all of that, even what you walk on, can give out signals for the enemy to want to come in and target you. You develop a smell that these enemies can breathe, and then that's where they can try to locate you. And it could be a smell, it can be a heat ray, it could be something. Your low vibration or negative vibration can cause a trigger or an alert for the enemy to come your way to try to take over. I used to always say, God don't make no junk. It's the junk that you put in the vessel that God has blessed you with will cause you to be evil. But all God's creations to me are wonderful. Until. And I put until because it can go in any direction. So I just want to say that, like I said, I was having a conversation with my son, and we was talking about how we see things differently, and I was letting him know that we're not too far apart of how we see things. It's just that now everything is in different terminology. It can mean the same thing, but they just change the words over the years, and it turns into a slang that you develop over the time. So, because, I'm direct saying this too to all those parents out there who have children. Don't be afraid to talk to your kids. Don't be afraid to find out what it is that they're talking about. Because you might find out that you are on the same page. What you've been trying to teach your kids all along, they're getting it. But it's just looking different because they're in a different age and time from when you were taught the information. But to tie on to the conversation that I had earlier, the video was very productive. It had all of the information. It was just constantly being distracted because the GPS kept coming in. Another thing that I talked about on that video was about, when you're being, micromanagement. And I had asked the question, do you like being micromanaged? And I had said, if you are looking at me or asking the question to me about, do I like to be micromanaged? The answer is no to the no to the no, no, no. I don't like it because for two reasons. It distracts you from your train of thought and your original plan that you had set and took the time to try to do. And then it shows a form of disrespect and downgrade because you're not letting the person do the job that you hired them to do. We need to be able to determine or see that thin line that's there between teaching somebody, training somebody, coaching somebody, and taking over what somebody is learning. And this is everywhere. It can be in the workplace. It can be at a church. It can be at a organization. We have people put in place to train. I've trained. I used to be a trainer at one of my jobs, and I had to train adults. And I had something that I had to train the people to learn so that we can all be on the same page. And these organizations, you have to have certain types of training done as a whole so that everybody's in compliance to whatever businesses or whatever you're using to get grant or whatever it is for that business to run. And plus, it's a HR issue depending on what it is. Everybody has to have the same information. When you hire it in on these jobs, you have to have all these different types of training that's done yearly, some monthly. So I've done all of that training stuff at one point in my life, and then I had to make sure that these training things that I do are them and not me. So I'm saying that to say, what if we micromanage God? This person is pushing that horn behind me. What if we micromanage God? What would you think God would do to us if we micromanage God? We have this thing called divine timing. God's divine timing. It is not your divine timing. It is God's divine timing, which means it's going to happen when God says it's going to happen, not when you say it's going to happen. And then this led to another conversation that I had also talked about on the video about how, if you're looking at the world today and how I had a conversation with somebody else and they were saying that, they feel like certain groups of people are scared because they're not fighting like they did back in the day. And then I asked another person and they said fighting is not necessarily always the answer. The common goal for everything that was being said was there is an issue and something needs to be done. The question is, how can we do it without causing a negative output? For those who said that you should go out and cause violence and do all this stuff now, and we still have the people in charge that is causing the violence, what's going to be the outcome if you go ahead and do all of this stuff and cause problems? Or, what is the solution? Is it going to be a solution that's going to help you in the end? Because the same people that you're trying to go up against are the same ones in office. And, the outcome is either you're going to see a lot of people get arrested or a lot of people are going to be unalived. And they said, well, they can't overcrowd the jail. So then if they're not going to go to jail, then they're going to try to unalive. So the outcome for doing, and this is just my opinion, guys, of doing something right now is not going to have a positive outcome because the people that's causing the problems are still here. And then this is what brought to my attention what I felt. I felt like, I do believe God's in control. I don't know God's plan by no means, but I do believe God has a strategic way of having this done. I believe that God has his soldiers in place. Mother, Father, universe, Elohim. God has its soldiers in place, angels in place. And when it's time to move, it's time to move. But I can't explain it for people to understand because, God's plan is not our plan. And I just don't want the world to go do something crazy and foolish that's before the plan and timing of God, because we think that they should be doing something now. I do believe violence may have to take place in certain cases and situations, but it's not the only answer. It's not what has to take place. So with saying that, and I hope I ain't saying nothing politically incorrect. This is just what I think, and this is a cup of conversation followed by some food for thought. So I just think that maybe if we can come together and find a plan to get a solution, that we can come together and a better way than just going up there trying to cause violence. But anyway, the whole conversation I played the video earlier, and it was more better than I said the first time. But the point is trying to not go ahead of God's plan. And then I was reminded about the story about Sarah and Abraham, and how Sarah wanted a child. Abraham wanted to please his wife. And later on down the line, they were presented with a child the right way. God sent an angel and told Abraham that he would have a child in his old age. But being outside of God's plan, Sarah said to her husband to go sleep with her handmaid and then get her pregnant. That's not something I recommend. That ain't something I'ma do. But that's what she did. And the outcome for that was a handmaid that did not want to sleep with her old husband, ended up having a baby. And I don't know if she didn't want to sleep with her. I'm just saying because they were old in age. And the handmaid is helping them. So I don't think that she was the same age as them. I think she was probably younger. But she ended up having to sleep with this older man and have a baby by this man. And can't even be with that man. So it's sad on the standpoint and however way you look at it. But the point of the matter is she didn't wait for God. She took matters in her own hand. And not only did she take matters in her own hand, the husband agreed to it and caused a child to be out of that marriage. But anyway, things were different back in the days. But the point that I'm trying to make is that we need to stay in the will of the plan of God. But it takes us to look inwards, to hear what God is trying to tell us. So if somebody's asking today, what can I pray about? I would ask God to pray about a better way for us to be able to maintain and to be at peace and to function until the plan that God has put in place is to happen. I said it a while ago that I believe that God has a plan. I can't tell you what that plan is, but I believe that all of this stuff is taking place for a reason, time, and season. It is prophecy. It is going to come out the way that God is planning for it to come out. And I'm just asking that we can join together and pray and ask for a solution. To give those who's going through the times such as this a peace that passes all understanding, so that your focus is still stayed on God, which you can communicate within yourself, and to not be easily acceptable for these spirits to come in and cause us to do bad things or things that's not of love, and to pray for the leadership that is here on this earth so that they can make the right decisions, because it was man that said we should have leadership as opposed to how it was in the beginning. So I hope and use your resources to go to the Bible and read it. It's in the Old Testament, within the first book of the Bible, Genesis or Exodus, somewhere in that area. Look online, type in Abraham and Sarah story, and then it'll give you an idea to where to look at so that you can see exactly where I'm coming from when I'm talking about, when I'm referring to something in the Bible. But again, I hope I said something that was helpful. I hope I said something that was understandable. The earlier post that I had made had so much interruptions with the GPS, and I think I won't put it on because it might flag me for the GPS in there using all of its terminology. Plus, it gave my location. I ain't gonna do all that. So I hope I said something that was helpful. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Love you. You cannot give from an empty cup. You have to give yourself first, and then you can give to others. It's not selfish. Oh, I did bring an example of before about how people that give up children for adoptions, and I'm talking about those that have serious issues or addictions and things that they're fighting inner demons, and they can't provide for their children, so they put the kids up for adoption with the mindset of trying to get a better life for them because they was unable to do it for themselves. Doesn't make that person selfish, because intentionally they're trying to do the best thing for that child, so that child doesn't have to go up and live with the life that they have lived, and they're trying to get themselves better. So that is an example of what I was saying. You have to take care of you first. You have to love you first. If you don't have no idea of way to take care of a child, don't have one. But for those that are in situations that are out of their control, you need to take care of you first. You have to fix you before you can fix anybody else. And I'm not condoning anything like that. I was just giving an example to where, to the depth of how people can look at you and say, when you listen to outside voices, other people talking about how they're going to say, well, you can't do that. That's selfish. Listen to your inner voice, not the outer voice, not the voice of the people. The voices of the people that's coming in here talking to you, they don't know what you are going through inside. They don't know the conversation that you have with God. God talks to all of us. So all of those that say, oh, God told me to tell you, okay. How about you pray that God tells me the same thing too, so that we can be on one accord? Listen to what God told you before you tune into the outer side voices. That's why it's important to love you. Love you, forgive you for yourself, forgive you because it's also for you when you forgive others, and to don't give out of an empty cup. Give out of an overflowing cup to others. But make sure you always give to yourself and to the family that God has blessed you. So until next time, have a wonderful day. Love you. God loves you. You love you. Peace.